I don't play no Beyonce records. It's not because of Jay and the problems we have. It's because of the respect I got for him. You understand what I'm saying? So last time I saw Jay and Beyonce, that was Shaka's party. I ran into her. We talked and I said, there's Rachel right over there, and go right over there. I don't want that. I don't even want her to have the chance to like me because it's hard not to. I'm not gonna say she do or don't.
Defamation of character, the whole 9 yards. So Jay gonna have to say, I didn't write that, my lawyer wrote that. But he came out like saying that he wrote it, like he was doing that. So he got him a defamation claim, defamation, I think Tony Buzzard got a defamation lawsuit against him right now. Against his character, this, that, and the third, the whole 9 yards.
For black men and women, you know, to see a different outcome, like you were saying. It's not this celebrity couple. We were never a celebrity couple. We were a couple who just happened to be celebrities.
That's beautiful.
Like real people.
Hip-hop history is filled with powerful partnerships. Some of them make history together, while others eventually crumble under the weight of fame, money, and pride. Few stories capture this as vividly as the rise and fall of Roc-A-Fella Records, led by Jay-Z and Dame Dash. These two men started as brothers in business. They moved like family, building an empire that shaped the culture of the late 90s and early 2000s. But along the way, whispers started to spread. Whispers not just about business deals or industry politics, but about something much more personal, about Dame Dash allegedly getting too close to Beyonce at a time when she was beginning her relationship with Jay-Z. Did Jay really confront Dame about crossing the line? Did that moment help speed up the collapse of their empire? Today, we're going to break it all down on how loyalty, love, and ego collided inside Roc-A-Fella, and why Jay-Z and Dame Dash's brotherhood never recovered.
Is there any truth to you trying to talk to Beyonce while she was with Jay?
Nah. You know, I like Willie D a lot, and I was surprised that he had someone that's not credible on his show like that. But some things that he says are true, but everybody knows. But like the things he says, like intimate, he's not a Roc-A-Fella specialist. We never respected him as a Roc-A-Fella. He was never any of our friends. None of that. He's just a hired employee like the hundreds of people that have done that. He just happened to be getting content. Like I said, whenever you talk to someone that was said that they would know everything because they taped everything and you took all the footage, show it. Back it up. Pause. You know what I mean? But I would never try to talk to another man's wife. Before that was, I mean, I ran into it once and I think I got a number at this Victoria's Secret show, but to me, she was like a little girl. So I was going after Giselle. You know, I wasn't going at, it was like Giselle, everybody. And Naomi Campbell was a lot of people that she hadn't realized the potential yet. But it was because I honestly was like, I'll call you to talk to you. But that was like a year or two before all, you know, that she wasn't, she was probably like almost, like she was, I don't want to say this because it'll trigger too much shit, so, but I never tried to talk to her after that. Well, I would never, I mean, you know, we're rock stars, so yes, definitely, it wasn't like I never looked at one of his girls and said, I'm gonna smash her. That never happened. Once he would hit the chick, then I'm not fucking with her. But before, we would go hard. But he would do that a lot. Like, you know, girls, you know, again, I'll put Twitter in the book. You know, but I never chased his chicks, but sometimes if there was a choice, they would choose me a lot. And sometimes they would choose him. But I you know, Aaliyah hadn't, if he would have touched her physically at all, you know, any penetration or anything like that, then I could have never wifed her. That would have never, I'm not a guy that's ever gonna wife a girl that my friends, I'm not ever gonna do that. You understand what I'm saying? I couldn't do that. I can't walk in the room and they got that connection, never. So the only reason why we were both going at her, but she chose me. That's all. But it wasn't like I was trying to take his girl. I mean, he might have had PTSD because of that, which I'm sure he did. You know, I can't help how a girl feels, but you know, I wouldn't. He knows I would never do that. You know, I don't even listen to Beyonce records because I don't want to fuck her. I don't want to see her shake her body. Even though Jay, I still consider my brother. I don't even really know what she looks like. You understand what I'm saying? I don't really look at her. I don't listen to her music. To me, her music portrays her and the way that she dances and stuff puts her in a light. So I feel funny looking at it. I can't even really, like, I don't play no Beyonce records. It's not because of Jay and the problems we have. It's because of the respect I got for him. You understand what I'm saying? So last time I saw Jay and Beyonce, that was Shaka's party. I ran into her, we talked, and I said, there's Rachel right over there, and go right over there. I don't want that. I don't even want her to have the chance to like me because it's hard not to. I'm not gonna say she do or don't, but I don't even want that. I don't want I've had connections with other people's girls and I'd be like, you know better than that, and walk off. Like we'll get the eye, let's stop talking because you know homeboy's gonna go crazy, let's go. And I'm not gonna say who that is. But it's happened that I've said no to other niggas' wives a lot that I respect, that everybody knows. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't do that. And to niggas' daughters. Like if your daughter, I get really offended when I hear that certain niggas, and you know who you are, have ran up in my daughter's DM. And I'm like, damn, that nigga is so crazy. I'm like, that nigga knew you was a baby. And I'm gonna step to that nigga when I see him. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you know that's my daughter. Like, either way, out of respect, bro. I know it's my daughter. But you already know what you're gonna do. I know, I tell me and my daughter got the best, I tell her everything. All these niggas do wanna fucking tell everybody. Do not do it. Only with somebody that really loves you, make him earn. And once he does that, he's responsible for your bills, because I did that for your mother. Fuck all that.
In the mid-1990s, Jay-Z wasn't the global icon we know today. Back then, he was a talented rapper struggling to get noticed. Major labels weren't lining up to sign him. The industry didn't know if he had what it took to sell records. But Dame Dash believed in Jay when almost nobody else did. Along with Kareem Biggs Burke, the three of them created Roc-A-Fella Records. This wasn't just a label, it was a last shot. If no one else was going to give Jay a deal, they were going to do it themselves. Their first big step came in 1996 with the release of Reasonable Doubt, thanks to a distribution deal with Priority Records. The album hit the streets, featuring guests like,
I don't even know how good she looks. I don't even know, you know what I'm saying? I could see what she's doing, and it's enough to turn away. Like, I'd be like, oh no, I don't want to see her butt. I don't want to see it, I don't want to see it. I don't know how he deals with that, but that's on him. That's just not me. That was an issue I was having with Aaliyah. Like, at the time, it was like, I wasn't trying to be in love with a girl that's gonna be doing kissing scenes and be in the studio with a nigga. No, I don't want that for me. I want you with me all the time. A nigga that's gonna be with you in the room for 12 hours will definitely fall in love. I did. So why would I wanna put you, I was doing everything I can, like, yo, let me get your shit right so you don't have to be around nobody or leave the Australia for 4 months and do kissing scenes with niggas. I didn't like that shit at all. That's what, I don't know what would have happened. And that's what's great about that situation, is we never got to get to an argument. All I can remember is the golden times. But usually a long-term relationship has some dark times. I just never had any with her because we didn't get that long terms. The years we were together, she was on the road and doing movies a lot. But we were really in love. And yeah, she was the coolest.
And speaking of Aaliyah, that's another rumor that's been going around for a while too. And I hate to even ask you about this, but I'm sure you've been saying the same thing. It's been a rumor going around about that, about how she was with Jay first and you took her from Jay.
He was talking to her, but I didn't know. He's sneaky, so I didn't know. So when I was talking to her, she was like, how's Jay? And so she said, like, oh, he must have tried it too. So it wasn't like I knew, I didn't know. Like with Beyonce, it was some sneaky shit. That nigga flew to LA and stood, and it was, you know, he's slick, pause, he's cunning. So you never really know what Jay, you don't know who Jay's cunning. The way he pulled Beyonce was cunning. Real cunning. But that's his business, I ain't know. So let me just say this, you see how you say it's, wait, you see how you say it's going around the internet? That's why I have to speak on certain things, or else it'll stay going around the internet and people will believe it, and it does affect my business. But if you're not a boss, you don't understand that. That's the reason why you see the dude from Apple, before he died, he said his truth, because he knew algorithms. What's his name? Steve Jobs. You see Elon Musk speaks a lot, because the reason why you didn't speak before is because there wasn't an internet, there wasn't an algorithm, there wasn't social media. So now you have to approach business a little different. You have to be able to adjust. there's different weapons out there and there's different ways to fight them. These people that do certain things, they know about clipping, I know all the tricks, I just don't do them.
Along with this, if you notice the comments in the video shown before, people have even called out Dame for stuttering and even answering for so long that it is pretty sure Dame is lying. Anyways, by 1998, everything changed. Jay-Z released Volume 2, Hard Knock Life, and it blew up. The single Hard Knock Life, Ghetto Anthem, became one of the biggest songs of the year. Roc-A-Fella went from being an underdog independent label to a powerhouse that could compete with anyone. Between 1998 and 2003, Roc-A-Fella dominated. Jay-Z was dropping hit after hit. Artists like Beanie Siegel, Cameron, and Kanye West were part of the roster. Rockaware, their clothing line, turned into a fashion movement. Rock Films produced street classics like Paid in Full and Paper Soldiers.
I like the way you spelled the name too. So, you know, America knew how you put it in you. Yeah, I like that, man. And speaking of movies, right? So you was behind all the movies at Roc-A-Fella.
Every single thing that happened in Roc-A-Fella was basically my idea. But yeah, Homeboy did his job, he rapped.
How did State Property come in?
Well, that's my motto for music. If you want to break a record, I just looked at who was the most successful. So, whether you like it or not, Elvis was one of the most successful. And the same time Elvis was the #1 rock and roll artist, he was the #1 actor. You look at Prince, Purple Rain, right? You look at Diana Ross, she made movies. The ones and the artists that you remember are the ones that made movies. That's how you break, any group. So Roc-A-Fella, we broke with, because we were in trouble until Streets is Watching. You know what I'm saying? Big trouble. And, when State Property, I gave him the name State Property because they were always in jail. Every one of them, except Freeway, always had a case. So he's like, yo, we might as well just call y'all State Property. And it was about making a movie, and in the movie, putting all the crew in there, putting all the clothes, it was based, it was inspired by things and true events that had actually happened, but then it got completely exaggerated and turned into straight fiction. And then we made a soundtrack, and I put, the way I looked at it was, because every artist, had a budget, but if I could do one project and put all the artists on it, it wouldn't come out their budget, it would be a new budget, and whichever record or single from that soundtrack kicked off, that would be the artist that would come out first. That would dictate, who we would put our attention on, because you couldn't work all these different records at one time. It's just too much money on the street and not enough resources and not enough manpower. And what came out of that, I think, was Chris and Neef, their single. Well, it was a bunch of stuff. But it was like a way I could make videos without, taking it out of their budgets.
So the Streets is Watching was your idea?
Come on, bro. Yeah, of course. Yeah, what happened there was, and again, look at the receipts. For some reason, Homeboy wanted to be, and I hate to say this now, but Puff was killing him, right? He was killing him is when Biggie died. And on another note, I was in the studio when Source Money wrote Every Step You Take, because Puff started to try to pay the artist on Roc-A-Fella and State Property to come write for him. And I wouldn't let any of them go over there without me, because I didn't want them to be influenced by whatever was going on over there. So I was like, I'm going over there. I would never let them go over there without me. And I would make sure I negotiated all their deals. So anyway, Puff was rolling. I remember running into Mace right before he did that video with the red shiny suit on. And I'm teasing him like, yo, what are you doing with a red shiny suit on? And he was tight, like, man, Puff got me doing this. And I'm like, yo, what happened to Mace Mussolini? But that worked.
They weren't just making music, they were shaping culture. Everywhere you looked, Roc-A-Fella was there. And at the center of it all was Jay-Z as the face, with Dame Dash as the voice that kept pushing the empire forward. On the surface, everything looked unstoppable. But behind the scenes, cracks were starting to form. As Roc-A-Fella grew bigger, so did the personalities involved. Dame Dash was known for being outspoken, flashy, and sometimes reckless. He carried himself like the loud, untouchable boss in every room. Jay-Z, on the other hand, was more quiet, strategic, and calculated. And then came Beyoncé. She and Jay first met between 1999 and 2000, when she was about 18 years old and still part of Destiny's Child. They didn't immediately start dating. Beyoncé would later say they were friends for over a year before they even went out. They spent long hours on the phone, building a foundation of trust. By 2001 and 2002, their chemistry was undeniable. They were seen together at events. They recorded 03 Bonnie and Clyde, and Beyoncé's solo debut, Crazy in Love, in 2003 featured Jay on the track. The music videos, the performances, the sparks were clear. Fans were already piecing together what was going on, even if the couple hadn't fully gone public.
It was just me and Jay. It wasn't like we was running with a crew or none of that. We were just gonna be like, yo, what's up? That's all. It wasn't like, you know, he was talking about us. We wasn't talking about him. So, you know, he was coming into New York and we were probably gonna be in the same place. So it was like, obviously we knew we were gonna run into him. So we were like, yo, we might as well get to him before he get to us. So we were just trying to see like, yo, what was it, you know? We were just trying to see what his temperature was. Is this rap or what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Why did Jay redo Pac, Me and My Girlfriend, knowing that him and Pac wasn't, you know, on good terms?
I have no idea. Because he had a girlfriend. To me, that was his introduction. He wanted everybody to know that homegirl was his girlfriend. That's how I looked at it. But I wasn't at that point. I wasn't around him that much. Like when that record came out, I was in Europe. I watched the rough cut from like Paris or something. Like at that once homegirl got in the picture, our relationship had evaporated. It was already gone. Like I said, he wasn't talking to Biggs for like a year. Him and Biggs weren't talking for like 2 years or a year before that. It might have been like 2 years they wasn't talking. It was crazy. What album was that on, Me and My Girlfriend?
The Gift and the Curse.
I wasn't nowhere near him for that. I don't even remember that album. I don't know a record on that album. I was out. Like after the Blueprint, I didn't even pay attention to the Black album. I was gone. Blueprint, I would say, was like the last album that I was any part of. I mean, you know, I think after that, a lot of the essence of Roc-A-Fella was talking about our friendship. Once our friendship was over, there wasn't any more friendship to talk about. And, you know, I had no interest in what he was saying anymore.
But while Jay was falling for Beyoncé, Dame was still very much in his circle. And according to whispers from the industry, Dame admired Beyoncé too. People close to the situation have hinted that Dame would sometimes flirt or act a little too friendly. Whether it was joking around, making compliments, or just showing interest, it was enough to create tension. Now imagine this: Jay-Z, one of the biggest rappers in the world, finally finding love with one of the most admired women in music. And then there's Dame Dash, his business partner and brother in arms, allegedly moving in ways that crossed the line. At some point, Jay-Z reportedly had to pull Dame aside and confront him. The details of what was said are private, but the rumor is that Jay told Dame to back off and respect boundaries.
Was there when he first started dating Beyonce at 17, 18, he was 30-something. You didn't know his age. When I look back and see how old Jay-Z was, I think Jay-Z was born in like 69 or 67, something like a 67 right there, 69. I think he was born in 69. Beyonce, they say she was born in 81. You understand? But back then, in 81, when we was in the club together, 98, 99, she wasn't even supposed to be in the club, but she was in the club. It was Club Eugene, and Jay was dating her. And at that time, if you look at Jay's age, he was about 30 years old. So, isn't she still somewhat a child? To me, she is. But I guess they protect child. That's how you protect a child, you know, dating her at the age of 30-something years old and she's 17, 18 years old. If that's her true age. We really don't know her true age because Gabrielle Union said she went to junior high school with her, and Gabrielle Union is considered 6, 7 years older than Beyonce age that she getting. So we really don't know. You know what I'm saying? But to get back to your letter, I believe that the lawyer was doing what he did, and he threw shade at Puff in the interim of that by saying that all celebrities, you may think all celebrities are alike, you know what I'm saying? He know he's under this situation with Puff. But you gotta look at this right here. They sent him a letter, Busby sent him a letter for 2 reasons, I believe. To open up the floodgate, just like that 1-800 bad boy number did, and people start calling in saying what Puff did to them. Because he already had that information from that person when they first did the suit against Puff. She made those allegations back then. So he sent him a letter saying, yo, listen to me, man, hey, let's not let this go anywhere. Pay this off and we can walk away from it. And for what we know and what we've heard, that the girl information may not be totally right. Because I know in 2000, what she just said, and me being there and around, I know the atmosphere, I know the players, and I know how we moved and how we didn't move. You understand what I'm saying? So now, I know what she said about 2000 was wrong. I don't know, I'm not talking about what actually happened to her. I can't speak on what actually happened to her, but I can speak on the atmosphere that what she spoke on and how she got there. It wasn't happening. So now, to get back, they sent Jay this letter. Jay, nah, that ain't me. Guy with his lawyers and everything, his lawyers wrote that shit up, and now he presenting to the people like he wrote it. Everybody know that if he's stealing rhymes and he's stealing bars, I know that's your man, Mighty.
This wasn't just about business anymore. This was about trust, respect, and loyalty. And in Jay's mind, Beyonce wasn't just another artist. She was the woman he was building a future with. For Jay-Z, that moment may have been the first sign that his partnership with Dame couldn't last forever. Because once personal trust is broken, it's hard to rebuild it, even if you're running an empire together. By 2004, Roc-A-Fella's glory days were coming to an end. Jay-Z accepted the role of president at Def Jam, a move that gave him more power in the industry. But to Dame and Biggs, it felt like betrayal. They had built Roc-A-Fella together, and now Jay was moving into a new chapter without them. The label was split. Def Jam ended up owning everything. Jay got control of Roc-A-Fella Records. Dame and Biggs were forced out of the empire they helped create.
I ain't wanted to be over, bro. Like, we still had a lot to accomplish, man. You know what I'm saying? There still was a lot of talent there. Like, think, Skino and Sparks never got off, man. PD never got off. Right. You know what I mean? It's a lot of who didn't get a chance, caught up in grown men. You know what I mean? Just to prove a point. And it's like, you got people's lives in the middle of that. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I was crushed by that too, bro. That shit wasn't a joke. Like, it was like, damn, man, the team, like, remember, I built my whole life since 14 years old. Roc-A-Fella. Right. The time I was what, 28? Almost 30? This shit was, you talking about it's over? It was like, this is all I know. You kidding me? No more baseline. Nigga, that's my hangout. Where I'ma go now? Right. Gotta go back to Marcy? Yeah, we gotta shoot again, nigga. It's on. Like, yeah, like, so that shit changed up everything, man. And then everybody went their own way. And like I said, man, I told these, like, when I knew the final straw was at the Change Clothes video, man. Change Clothes? Yeah, me and Dame had a major argument because he was telling something to... major argument? Yeah, we always argue. Me and Dame always argue. Okay. Because it was just like, he used to be living on cloud 9, and it's like, I was on reality. Like, I always say that. In the industry, I pop every pill under the sun, but that reality pill. Don't want to accept when it's over. Right. You know what I'm saying? Niggas will be in denial and fight against that shit. And it's like, bro, you gotta accept. Niggas don't f with you, dog. It's on. Well, you gotta do something else. And it was that, like, he was basically telling, yeah, we gonna fix this, we gonna do it. And I'm looking at him like, bro, this over. And he looked at me and said, yo, you always going against everything I say, like you got a problem here. If you don't wanna be with Roc-A-Fella, nigga, I give you your walking papers. You know me like, you ain't got the power to do that. I'm not on Roc-A-Fella cause of you. You crazy? And I remember like they broke it up, security came in there, cleared us out, and then Hove got wind of what happened. And from there, that conversation, I knew. That shit was over, blood. Gotta make new plans now, Blizzle.
Dame didn't take it quietly. He launched Dame Dash Music Group and started pushing back against Jay in the media. Artists like Cameron even dissed Jay publicly. What had once been a brotherhood had now turned into a rivalry. Looking back, many believe there wasn't just one reason for the split. There was the business tension, the different leadership styles, and the power struggles. But for fans who followed the rumors, the alleged friction over Beyonce only added fuel to the fire. While the Roc-A-Fella family broke apart, Jay-Z and Beyonce kept building something stronger. They eventually went public, got married in 2008, and created a family. With 3 children and a combined music empire, they became more than just stars. They became music's first family. Beyonce would later describe how having her first child deepened her love for Jay. They weren't just a couple. They were partners in every sense. Their bond survived rumors, challenges, and the spotlight.
The other freedom I see in the album is just a freedom for couples who have gone through something.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. You know, it's almost a cliche, you know, the celebrity couple, you know, they get together, they break up, you know, I'm like, well, who else are they gonna go out with? But for some reason, you took an unprecedented stand to fight for this marriage. I mean, to fight for it and to put it all out there. What is it about this marriage that's so special that you would fight this hard to save it?
Well, it's my soulmate, it's the person I love, you know, and you can be in love with someone, you can love someone and if you haven't experienced love and you don't understand it and you don't have the tools to move forward, then you're gonna have complications, period. And if you can either address it or you can pretend until it blows up at some point. And, you know, for us, we chose to fight for our love, for our family, to give our kids a different outcome. You see, you know, to break that cycle. For black men and women, you know, to see a different outcome. Like you were saying, it's not this celebrity couple. We were never a celebrity couple. We were a couple who just happened to be celebrities.
That's beautiful.
Like real people.
Yeah. What advice would you have for men who have caused pain in marriages? I mean, it's easy. I mean, somebody like you, I mean.
The best apology is change behavior, right? But change behavior, one. And then also you have to, you know, you have to acknowledge the pain. You have to let that person have their say. You have to get on the floor, get on the mattress, and you have to really work through it and really be honest. And no matter how many times, it takes a while. It's hard. It's very difficult. It's difficult to hear. It's difficult to say. It's difficult to, you know, to listen to that sort of pain. And you just have to be strong enough. You have to be strong enough to go through that, because on the other side is beautiful. You know, in our case,
that's a level of strength really on both sides. I mean, if the shoe had been on the other foot, you know, if the transgressions had been on her side, do you think you would be able to be as forgiving of her as she was of you?
I hope. Again, because I love her the same way. No matter what side, I love her the same way. I pray that I will, because her strength and her, you know, man, is the strongest woman I know. Like her and my mother, they battling if they want one.
Beautiful. I just want to say to you, you are blazing a trail, you know, for a lot of us to follow. But, you know, financially, culturally, you know, the idea of confession could save so much pain and suffering in politics and every place else. I honor you. You know, one of the guys said, you know, just make sure to ask him before he leaves, you know, is he in the Illuminati? And I said, no, I'm not gonna ask that, but are you?
I'm in the new Illuminati.
Let's give it up for Sean and jayz. Guest on the Man Show.
For Jay, protecting Beyonce wasn't just about love, it was about securing his personal life, even if it meant losing business relationships along the way. The story of Jay-Z and Dame Dash is complicated. It's about friendship, loyalty, and betrayal. It's about how two men built an empire but couldn't keep it together. And it's about how personal lives can collide with professional ones in ways that change everything. Did Dame's alleged behavior toward Beyonce push Jay to create distance? Was that the hidden spark that sped up the end of Roc-A-Fella? Or was it just one of many problems they already had?
You know, I've been around Jay-Z, and one time I wanted to knock his head off, you know, because he was being disrespectful, but he didn't know he was being disrespectful because he ain't that type of dude. You understand what I'm saying?
What happened?
We was in Cancun, and he had a personal assistant from my block named Laura, and he had brought like 3 people to the club. He had brought like 6 people to the club with him, and he was only supposed to get 3 people in. I was running the door at Daddy-O's from Industries Entertainment. They just told me Jay-Z only get 3 people in. You understand? So I'm at the door. I said, yo, Jay, you good? And 3 of your others good, but the other 3 gotta pay. So then he said, Laura, handle him. And at that time, the type of dude I was, you can't tell no woman to handle me. You understand? When I'm talking to you as a man. So then I said, who you talking to like that? You telling her to handle me? You understand? And then me and him, you know, he didn't say nothing. He just turned to the side. And if he'd have turned back around, he'd have got his head knocked off. But Laura told me, yo, Gene, please, Gene, you gonna make me lose my job. You know what I'm saying? And because, 1, she was beautiful, 2, she from our block. You understand? I wasn't gonna do that to her. You understand? So I gathered myself, stepped away from the situation, and then the promoter said, Jay can let his people come in. You know what I'm saying? But he was being disrespectful. You know, this is the same dude that Harlem cats used to laugh at and joke at. Even we was out there that time, he came to Cancun and he had a fake Versace shirt on, and they was ripping him. I mean, they was ripping him. I know he's a billionaire now, he can work whatever he got. He got $10 million watches and shit like that, but we talking about back then. You understand? We still have those stories from back then. And it's good that a brother could uplift himself, and that's why he's the type of person that he is, because he knew how guys used to treat him. That's why you could see him trying to sun people based on somebody who gets in that type of situation. You understand? This dude had the same cream deli silk shirt that I had. Now, cream deli cream shirts were fake printed Versace shirts. They were nice. You pay $45 for them, but you can't wear that around Harlem cats. You understand what I'm saying? Not if you in the rap industry. At that time, they used to have diamond testers. You understand? They'll roll up on the cat, and if your diamond don't beat, you understand? They'll talk about you. Snatch your chain off or whatever like that.
We may never know the full truth. What we do know is that Jay-Z chose to protect his relationship with Beyonce, and in doing so, he set himself on a path that made him not just a hip-hop mogul, but a family man with a lasting legacy. The empire of Roc-A-Fella was built on loyalty, ambition, and vision. But sometimes, empires fall not just because of money or power struggles, but because of pride, ego, and personal boundaries being crossed. Jay-Z and Beyonce remain stronger than ever, while Dame Dash continues to reflect on what went wrong. And that leaves us with a powerful question. If your closest friend allegedly disrespected the person you loved, would you confront them and risk losing everything you built together? Or would you stay quiet to protect the empire? Let us know what you think in the comments below.